The London Olympics were absolutely fantastic, and to come back with one of these made it even more special. A sort of wonderful heavy silver medal. And for me, it was my 6th Olympics, so been very, very fortunate that I've been at it for a long time, and that I've managed to have horses at the top level on the sort of Olympic years. So I've managed to get selected all those times. And I really wondered, I was very excited that London was hosting the Olympic Games during my lifetime, that we had an Olympics in my own country. But a little bit of me thought, but surely it's not going to be as good as the Sydney Olympics or the Beijing Olympics, where we flew the horses, to the other side of the world, and all the excitement of that. But I can honestly say now that London's all over, that it was the best Olympics I've been to. Just had the most fantastic sort of feeling of unity. Everybody in London seemed to become so much, so uplifted and happy. And the support from the crowd we had was just unbelievable. The equestrian disciplines were held in Greenwich Park, and there was a lot of controversy as to, was it the right place? Should the equestrian disciplines be, at Windsor or Badminton, Burghley, other sites that were already there? But I personally, all along, I was very pro the 3-day eventing being there in Greenwich, because I knew as a sort of rider that being there, we would feel so part of that Olympic Games. We'd be, as riders, living in the Olympic Village, which is awesome. And also, it just makes you feel really part of it, rather than out away at another sort of horsey event, as it were. In Greenwich, the crowds came in their hordes. The dressage phase of our 3-day event was, for me personally, was one of the most worrying phases. Imperial Cavalier, my horse I rode, he's very enthusiastic. He absolutely loves the sport, much too much. And sometimes his enthusiasm can get the better of him, especially in the dressage phase. And my worry was he would go into the main arena and the crowds would erupt with cheers and claps, and he might erupt as well. But luckily, the crowd were ever so well behaved, and I walked into the main arena on Imperial Cavalier, and I did that to the crowds, and they looked at me and they did shush, and it really made all the difference between me then being able to go on and perform a really good test. So thanks to the crowds, it worked for me, that phase. And Archie, as we call Imperial Cavalier, he was very cool and did one of his best tests at that championship level. So anyway, the other team members, we all went reasonably well in the dressage, and we were lying behind the Germans, but still very much in touch. Then cross-country day, that was, as an event rider, that is the most sort of exciting and nerve-wracking day. And the cross-country course, it wasn't big compared to what we're used to riding, compared to a Badminton and Burghley. It wasn't a big course, but it was tricky because of the twists and turns and undulations and the crowds, because the roar when I set off, when each of especially the British riders set off, the crowds that were sort of 10, 15 deep all the way around the course just screamed and shouted as we were galloping along, and it was this, I'll never experience it again, that noise, 10 minutes of galloping with this roar following me where I went. So it was quite unnerving for the horses, and it made Archie quite flighty to ride. Plus, with the twists and turns, it wasn't ideal. He's a big horse, long striding horse. But anyway, we managed to do our bits and finished home clear. And all our team members jumped a clear round across country. So again, we were up there. The Germans were still ahead, but we were all within a few marks of each other. So it made it ever so exciting right to the end. When I then went in for my final show jumping phase, I had to jump a clear round for the team to stay in silver medal position. So no pressure, haha. But you learn to cope with the pressure. and I just go into my own sort of little bubble, me and my horse and a course of fences, and I just think, you know, I go in there and just jump around the course of fences as if I'm at home, just trying to jump clear around a normal show jumping course, and try and block out all the millions watching, the, you know, the atmosphere, the knowing that, you know, that billions are watching on the television. And anyway, Archie performed well, and as we jumped the last fence, and I knew I'd jumped my clear round, oh, the feeling was fantastic. The crowd erupted, and so did I, so did Archie, and it was great to know we'd done our bit. And then Tina Cook, she jumped last for the team. She jumped clear as well, and that meant we clinched our silver medal. So absolutely fantastic.